Hello and welcome to the show. This is part 2 of the raid on a border tower. The game is fairly evenly balanced at the moment, and while Lord Ronald may have lost his opportunity to capture a noble, the Saxon force morale is dropping steadily. Let's see what happens next. So right at the moment it's still in the balance. We have a Saxon group here rushing to get into the gate. The missiles are busted flush at the moment, I think, really, with the shock they've got on them. We've got the skirmishers from the Scotty on the flank here, a small group of Scotty there with Hoots McSpicy. Skirmishers ganging up on the Hearthguard here, and in fact I've forgotten to do a bad things happen for the Saxons, which is interesting. I'll do that in a second. And there's a lot of shock on the Scotty, but the Saxons are looking a little bit vulnerable. So bad things happen for the Hearthguard group being destroyed effectively is 3, and 3 is -2, so the Saxons are on 2 force morale. Okay, Saxon missiles, well, I think they've pretty much had it here at the moment. I'm not quite sure what to do with them. They've got 6 shock, so any time going forward they're going to move -6, and they've got to get somebody to rally off that shock, which nobody's really going to do at the moment. So that's them. The Scotty Lord is up. Well, what he's going to do is pull back to this group here, which they do, for 1, join up for 2, and take off a point of shock for 3. Saxon leader 1. He will, I think he's going to swing around and disperse these and try and engage this group here. And to make sure he gets in, he's playing bounding move. So that's easily done. Okay, as they go through, the skirmishers will evade. They'll go 9. They have 2 hits as they go. And it's against warriors. 4, 5, 6 shock. 1 shock, which would have been 1 less inch, but there's no problem there. Plenty of movement to get into the warriors. Okay, so we have a combat over here. 10 dice for the Saxons. And 6 for the Scotty. Hitting on 4, 5, 6. That's a pretty good hit. Also hitting on 4, 5, 6. That's also a pretty good hit. So 3, 4, 5 shock, 6 kill. Oh, that is 3 shock only. 3, 4 shock, 5, 6 kill. Oh, 3 kill. 3 kill. Now, is it Elfram? It is. So it's Elfram is wounded. And it's 2 killed. They fall back 1 inch per shock. So they go back 1 inch. The Scotty will follow up. And it's going to be a bad things happen for a noble wounded. But that's no effect. So they go again. This is a bit of a disaster for the Saxons. So we have 4 less 1 is 3, 4, 5 for the Scotty. And 4, 5, 6, 7 for the Saxons. Saxons first. 3 hits. 2 hits. The effect is 1 kill. Is it on Hoots? It's not. And on the Saxons, 2 kill. 2 kill. Is it on Elfram? It's not. Oh, he's lucky there. Alright, 2 warriors killed. So it's net 1 to the Scotty again. Withdraw if excess shock. There is no excess shock here. The Scotty have 3 shock and 3 raiders, so they don't have excess shock, so they remain in combat. Saxon leader 2, he will take off 1 point of shock. Scotty missiles will fire at the half guard here, hitting our 456. 1 hit, no effect. The Saxon Lord take off 2 shock. Now he's got a great hand here. This, I think, is the best hand you can have for the Saxons. Carpe Diem, they're all boar suited, so it's Carpe Diem, strong arm and aggressive charge. So basically he loses 1 dice for the strong arm for movement, goes 2 dice 6 and charges in. I mean, the Scotty are on a lot of shock here. Ronald's side are only on 2, but even so, I think it's worth doing. And they get it. But hold on, the Scotty have evade. A group or formation of warriors or elite troops may fall back before an enemy attack. They move rolling the same number of movement dice as their attacker rolled. So they go back 2 dice 6. So the Saxons are going 8, which will get them up to here. So basically, if the Scotty rolls snake eyes, then it's still going to be a combat. They don't. They go back a long way. I think realistically, as the Saxons go forward, they will hit the Scotty missiles, who will get dispersed. No effect on 4th morale. So aggressive charge, Carpe Diem and strong arm are wasted. Okay, Hoots McSpicy is activated now. We'll continue this combat. Scotty have 4 and Saxons have 5. We'll do the Saxons first. That's 4 hits. Scotty, 1 hit. The effect on the Scotty is 1 shock, 2 kill. Is the kill on the noble? It is not. And the 1 hit on the Saxons is a point of shock. So, firstly, excess shock, yes, 3. They go back, oh, sorry, take them off. They will fall back 3. They have, well, lost their amphora. They will go another 10. And this group, if they get 2 or less, which they don't, will follow up or charge rather. They go 2 inches anyway. That's a bad things happen. 2, and a 2 means that they lose 1 point on force morale, and the Scotty are down to 4. However, what that does mean for this group here is they are right in the clutches of the Scotty skirmishers. Well, this lot will fire. 4, 5, 6 to hit. 3 hits. 4, 5, 6 to shock. 1 shock. And the other group, skirmishers, I guess they're going to go for the Hearthguard. They've got to, really. 2 hits. And 5-6, no effect. Scotty Cavalry will come around the back here. With 2 dice. Well, they got +6 anyway, so that's fine. They'll get within 6 inches of the Hearthguard. 5-6 to hit. 3 hits. And it's 5-6 shock. So 1 point of shock. Scotty Noble Cavalry. I think the Scotty Noble Cavalry are going to come all the way across. So it's 3 dice 6 +6. And that's not particularly good. They will go 11, but at least they're in the right area. And they can easily swing into the rear of the Saxons there. Right, Saxon Lord is up now, Lord Edwin. He's in a bit of a dilemma. He is effectively surrounded. Noble Raider Cavalry, Skirmish Cavalry, Skirmishers, and the Raiders to the front, although they are on a fair bit of shock, certainly this group. He'll play a strong arm. 2 dice 6, -1 per pip. They're in. -1 for the move, for the shock as well, but I don't think that'll affect that. 8 goes 6, 5. Yeah, that's fine. They're in 4. Okay, they're in. Now, strong arm means they get roll 1 dice 6 per man. 5, 11, and every 5, 6 is a shock. So we'll split this between the 2 groups. 2 shock. Well, it's better than nothing. Now, what that does mean, though, is this group is on 8, and they have 7, so they go back 1 inch. I'm assuming this group will follow up. So I know they're not formation, but they're all in the same sort of gang. They're within 2 inches, so I'm still going to keep this as 1 combat for the moment. I think that makes general sense to me. It's going to be certainly easier to calculate. It's 19 for the Saxons and 13 for the Scotty. Saxons first. We're hitting on a 4, 5, 6. And that is very poor. Seven hits in total. Scotty in return. That is also very poor. Two and 2. Right, effect. 1 kill, 1 shock. Three shock, 1 kill. Is it on Lord Ronald? It's not. So that's 2 killed for Scotty. On the warrior group, 1 kill. Is it on Elfram? It's not. One kill. Lord Edwin's group. Is it on Lord Edwin? It's not. So it's net 0. Withdraw if excess shock. Yes, they both have excess shock. They have 6 and 5, so they go back 1. And the Saxons will follow up there. And this group has 4, 6, 3, so they go back 3 and they follow up 2. So that has now finished the combat, but this one continues. Okay, Saxon leader 2. There's not a lot he can do here. I think he's got to take off a point of shock. Okay, Scotty leader 1, Hoots. He is going to detach and try and move around and help Ronald. He goes 10. I think I'll just remove them. Scotty Lord activated, and he will play Disengage. A group or formation may withdraw from an ongoing combat, retiring 2 dice 6. That's what they're going to do. Go back 9. Scotty skirmishers. They will move to within 6 inches, which they do. 4, 5, 6 to hit. 3 hits. Shock on a 5, 6. 1 shock. And the other group here, 1 hit, 1 shock. Scotty cavalry, well, again, these will go within 6 inches, which they do. One hit, 1 shock. I don't. Now the Scotty Raider cavalry have seen an opportunity. They could go for the Saxons over here on the flank. It's a long move. They're going to play aggressive charge. They get +6. It's a long move. They go 20. And they're in. Okay, Saxons turn to face. So Saxons will get 4, less 1 is 3, 4. For the noble is 4. The cavalry will get 4 plus 1 for elite, plus 3 because of the shock there, so they'll be on 8. Hitting on a 4, 5, 6. 1 hit. Four hits. 1 shock. And 2 shock. 2 kill. Is it on the noble? It is. Oh my lordy. Elf Rum has been killed. And there's another death. Bad things happen for Elf Rum. 5. Noble being killed on 5. And a noble being killed on 5. The Saxons are down to 0. We'll cover that in a moment. So these guys here also have excess shock. They will go back 2 inches for each excess shock, so they go back 4. Cavalry would advance 2. So they're okay at the moment, but the Saxons have to rout off the table. The Scottish force morale is 4, so they can contest this withdrawal. So first card up is the Saxon Lord. They've got to go. They go 8. -1 because of the rough ground, so they go 7. I guess you can take off 2 points of shock as well. The Saxon missiles, they've gone. Egg McMuffin, no shock to take off. Scotty missiles have gone. Elf Beer, he's got to do a runner. And that's a good run. He does 16. So, Scotty Cavalry, Noble Raider Cavalry, they've got 1 point shock, which means their horses are blown. They can't follow up here, much as they'd like to. So they've got to go back and get that shock rallied. So they're going to make their way over to Hoots McSpicy as best they can. +6, so that'll be 15. The Skirmish Cavalry will attack. 2 hits. 5-6 shock. Another point of shock. Hoots McSpicy's up next. He's on his own. What he's going to do is move over to the Scotty Noble Cavalry, which he does, and take that point of shock off. So these guys are ready to go again. Scotty Lord, he'll take off 2 points of shock and move up. He goes 9 because he loses 4 inches because of the shock. Scotty Skirmishers. Yeah, these guys will fire here. I don't think it's going to make any difference because they've already gone effectively. 1 hit. Another point of shock. They've lost their amphora, but they've already gone anyway. Let's just speed them up a bit. They've gone, and that is the end of the round. Right, so the Saxons are withdrawing. Scotty, I don't think they've got much chance of getting a Noble captured because they're too far behind. They've got too much shock. But we'll play out the last couple of goes and see what happens. Scotty Skirmishers are up next. Well, they'll move around to the flank, which they do. They'll fire at the half guard. 2 hits. No effect. The other group of skirmishers with Egg McMuffin want to get in on the act, but to be honest, they're a little bit slow. I ain't going to go anywhere too fast rolling that. Scotty Cavalry. Well, this is getting slightly interesting now. These guys will harass. 4, 5, 6 to hit, and that's 3 hits. 5, 6 shock. That's 2 shock. Now look out, the Noble Raider Cavalry are here. And I tell you what, okay, they're boar suited cards, so they won't get any extra bonuses for this, but a Carpe Diem means they can hit them in the rear. An aggressive charge, they get +1 to hit. So hitting them in the rear means they get a +1 bonus and a +1 hit. And obviously they get aggressive charge as well. They just don't need to flunk the move. No way. There's a +6 anyway. So this could be very interesting. So it's 8 dice for the Scotty. And it's 8 for the Saxons. And the Saxons hit on a 4, 5, 6. That's a good hit. The Scotty will hit on a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. +1 for aggressive charge, +1 for the hit in the rear. So anything but. Right, Saxon damage is 3 shock. So it's +1. The 5s become 6s and the 4 becomes a 5. So that's 1 point of shock. Four kills. And it is on Lord Edwin, one of them. Does he throw his champion away? I don't think he does. He'll take the wound. 3 Hearthguard killed. No point in rolling for bad things happen. They already had a bad thing. They're running away already. It's a net 3. More Hearthguard killed. Disaster. So it's a net 3, which means withdraw minimum of 6. So they go 6. If excess shock, add 2 shock per group. Well, yes, they've got excess. There's another 2 shock on. I mean, they're already running away. So this is, but what is, see, I'm thinking now, whereas these would normally follow up, they can't because they've got blown horses. So they've had their rush into the battle and they can't follow them up, much as they'd like to. So the Saxons have kind of got away with it, but they lost their M4 now, which actually may be their saving grace. They're off. Only 6. Saxon leader 2, old elf Veer, just take his gang and run. Every man for himself. They're off the table. They're safe. And the Saxon Lord comes up. They're off the table. Well, the Scotty have swept the Saxons from the table, but they haven't achieved their objective. So this is effectively a stalemate, I guess. The objective hasn't been met, and therefore it is a draw. Although, to be honest, I would say it's a Scotty victory. Yes, having looked through all of that and edited it, I agree with myself. That is a Scotty victory, although the objective has not been achieved. We'll look at the detailed point scoring for the raid itself in a moment. But firstly, I actually thoroughly enjoyed that game. There was a lot of ebb and flow. And although it's difficult for the Scotty to capture a noble, they certainly pushed the Saxons right to the end. But I am finding the Saxons quite difficult to play with. The Scotty seem to be getting more and more difficult to fight off. They're far more manoeuvrable, and with the Scotty Noble Raider Cavalry swooping down on groups with shock, they are absolutely having a big impact. So I'm not quite sure how the Saxons are going to counter that. With 3 lots of skirmishers, the Scotty certainly keep up the harassment against the Saxons and just keep piling on the shock. And although, I mean, looked at some of the dice rolls, it wasn't happening all the time. There's enough of it to drip, drip, drip and really have an impact on the Saxons. And the Saxons just don't have an answer to it. Their one and only long-range effective group, which was the missiles, were pushed back with shock and didn't really get into it. But just having one group is not much cop, to be honest. Anyway, we'll see how we go for the next time round. Let's have a look at how the Scotty scored this one. Before we do that, we'll have a quick look at the losses for each of the sides. The Scotty lost 10 Raiders killed only, while the Saxons lost the Noble Elfram, 10 Hearthguard, and 8 warriors. So the Hearthguard in particular getting a real kicking there. With regards to the overall numbers, the Scotty losses are moderate and the Saxons heavy. So on the results table, successful raid or battle won, no, so that's 0 for that one. However, 1 enemy noble was killed, so it's +1. Own troop losses are -1, enemy troop losses are +3. And I haven't played this before, but the Scotty had 1 pursuit card to their advantage, so they gain another +1. That actually means that the Scotty get a net +5. So +5 means the Scotty immediately gains sufficient followers to replace all the men dead, and 2 more volunteer raiders. So all 3 of their raider groups are now going to be 8 strong, and a thief's horde in plunder. Unfortunately for the Saxons, they replace the heavy losses in 6 months, not 3 as written here, because pestilence has hit the land. Therefore, I calculate that the Scotty are going to raid with impunity for the whole of the rest of the year, bar October, when the Saxons will finally be able to put a warband into the field to try and fight off the Scotty. And one last thing, with a victory of +5 or more, it means that a lord without a reputation may roll on the reputation table. Although I started this campaign with both lords having a reputation, that wasn't quite right. I just gave it to them for nothing at the beginning. Now certainly Ronald MacDonald has earned his reputation and is to be known as the Cruel, Lord Ronald MacDonald the Cruel. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. I certainly have. We'll pick up again on the campaign in October AD 618, where the Scotty will be raiding a farm. Hope to see you next time.